It's your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
This is the Courtside View Podcast, and we are back today, and we are discussing the NFL. We are reacting to Thursday night football, first on the docket, and what a game. It was a great game between two juggernaut teams in the NFL, two of the better teams in the NFL. You have the Lions, and then you have the Packers, both fighting for position in the playoffs, fighting for position in the division as well. It seems like the Lions, after that game, they're pretty much are going to be the winner of the NFC North. Is pretty much a they're the odds-on favorite, foregone conclusion at this point. I mean, you're 12-1. It's going to be pretty hard for the Vikings to. I mean, they only have 2 losses, but just knowing how the Lions are playing right now, it just seems like there's not going to be another team in that division that's going to knock them off. But you never know. What was your thoughts on the game? What did you see from the game? How did you feel about the Lions' performance? How did you feel about the Packers' performance? And who looked good? Who looked bad? Yeah.
The Lions, they just, I don't know, they just keep finding ways to win. And it's honestly, I don't know, it's just Dan Campbell. Like coaching, the team is completely bought in, even though they have a bunch of injuries, and they still able to come out here and play good ball. I mean, like the offense is, Ben Johnson is making stuff where even the offense, the numbers weren't all super crazy and everything, but shoot, they was getting it done on the ground, through the air. Jared Goff, he had a turnover, but obviously it didn't really matter because they still won. Yeah, man, it's just impressive. I mean, the Packers, they didn't play bad either. Jordan Love did miss some dudes. Jordan Love, he has the tools, all the tools to be a great QB. But sometimes I just watch it, I'm like, this dude is either elite or he's just like, yo, what is he doing out there? And it's honestly baffling to me. And as far as the Packers, defensively, give up 34 points. I mean, all the division game, anything can happen, but I know y'all dealing with injuries too. Jair is out. I think Evan Williams went out mid-game.
Ezra Kruger as well.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. It's just, I thought the Packers were going to win. Shame on me for thinking that. Thought y'all would split the series, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just the Lions. They're just top team right now.
Right.
And the Packers, I don't think y'all. Oh, yeah, Jaden Reed, he did absolutely nothing. I don't know what. He had a donut. 0-0.
He did.
1 target. What the heck was that all about? Don't y'all move him throughout the slot and everything? Why he only got 1 target? Y'all couldn't draw up a single play for the brother?
I don't know. Tell me.
I don't know.
All
That's
right.
all I got to say. And I was watching the game, but not like 1,000% watch. So I can't really tell you what they did right, what they did wrong, and all that stuff.
Who looked better in this game, and who looked worse, in your opinion?
I say the Lions looked better because even when they were kind of like struggling, they still looked like in control of the game. They was leading the time of possession, I believe, and they just seemed like at times they would look bad, like the Packers, they marched down the field and scored pretty quickly. Josh Jacobs, I believe, he wasn't going crazy, but he had 3 touchdowns. But it was like, I was like, the Lions, I feel like they have a real good shot to win, even when I was like, it was looking a little dire for us. Okay, the Packers got momentum. They really started to get considered off. But I was like, the Lions, I think they still pull this one out. So I just feel like the Lions just look better because I didn't really truly believe they would lose the game, even when it looked bad for them.
What about the officiating? You think the officiating was fair?
The officiating is never fair. Like I see this BS calls all league round.
That game, did you see? Was there anything like just eye-opening when you watching the game for the officiating?
I believe there was one play, and I can't.
Yeah, I can point to you. So like one was when they called Christian Watson saying that he impeded.
With the pick, yeah, that was foolishness.
And then it was another play. I'm not mad at this one, but it was like the Keyshawn Nixon one in the end zone where he pretty much, I think he pushed, I think it may have been Tim Patrick trying to impede his momentum, and then Tim Patrick, he still got the touchdown. Didn't do anything to him, but they called a flag on that one. I didn't feel like that was nothing wrong about it. But Matt LaFleur at the end of the game, remember the Lions, they also did pretty much the exact same thing that Christian Watson did.
I saw that.
But there was no call. So that was another thing that was sort of, you were like, huh? Like what are we doing here? I didn't know what Matt LaFleur was mad about until after the game when somebody showed it on Twitter. I was like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing here. And those are the only ones I could really think of in terms of officiating at the moment. There's probably more I just haven't seen quite yet.
That one where Taylor, it was a Dan Skipper, he like flopped. I was like, dude is 6'9". Like, come on, what are we doing here? 6'9", 300, but like, come on, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. Yeah, officiating has just been bad league-wide across multiple leagues. I don't know if this is ever going to get better. So you just got to learn to live with play through the foolishness. Pretty much. The Lions, they was on the, people say the benefiting end of it, but hey, you got to win games at the end of the day.
They're at home. I mean, when you're at home, you're going to get the benefit of the call. Like, that's always going to happen. So I'm not too mad about it. I'm not one of them people that's like, oh my God, we only lost because the officiating was garbage, so I'm not gonna do that. Here's my thing. I thought that the Packers offense, they played well. I thought that Jordan Love, he did exactly what I wanted him to do, was manage the game. The first quarter, I was a bit worried. I was like, oh, okay, only 3 completions on 8 attempts. Like, all right now. But for the most part, I was impressed with the Packers offense. I thought they managed the game well. He didn't put the ball in harm's way. I mean, you scored 31 points against the Lions. I mean, you should win most of the time when you put up 31 points against a great team like that. But they couldn't because of that defense. I'll say this. Christian Watson cost them this game. The pick play, the if you want to say it was a flag or not, and the fumble. I literally, honestly, I turned the game off after that for like a bit. I had to turn the game off because I was frustrated at Christian Watson because he's had these moments during games throughout his career where he'll drop a pass, he'll fumble a ball, like he'll do some dumb stuff that you're just scratching your head like, why would you do that? Like, why? You're about to get tackled regardless. Like, you're not about to break the tackle. Protect the football. Why are you only holding it with one hand and you're going down? And he fumbles the ball. So that was like, I feel like that right there cost them the game.
Weren't y'all in the red zone too? Or y'all was on the...
We weren't in the red zone, but we were like
past the 50,
like around the 50-yard, and we were like gaining momentum. Like this was like the first time where we're starting to get consistent drive going with our offense. And he just fumbled the ball, and I was just like, bro, it's gonna be one of those games. I turned the game off. Now, when I turned it back on, it was like beginning of the second half. I think we only scored 7. We were down 10, and then the offense just started to get it going, I like that they utilized Josh Jacobs. They gave him 18 attempts, but I feel like they should have leaned on him more, particularly in the first quarter. So here's my thing with Matt LaFleur and the game planning. You have to establish what the game is going to be, and the first few drives in the first quarter, I was confused because if you know about the Detroit Lions and their injuries, they were missing 2 starting players on their defensive line, and they were missing I think on their second team unit, he also plays a lot of snaps as well. They were missing 2 D tackles, a defensive lineman who started for them as well. And when I was looking at it, I was making sure, I was like, okay, for the most part, majority of the starters are playing. But they are missing a bunch of guys on the D-line. I'm like, let me look at the snap count to see how much they rely on them. And the 2 D tackles, which is DJ Reader and Levi, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But those 2 guys, they play over 50% of the snaps. And then you have another starter on the D-line that plays over 50% of the snaps. I'm like, okay, we need to run the ball a lot this game. And what I wanted Matt LaFleur to do is establish the run And he didn't do that. He was passing the ball a lot. Like, I think the first play was like a play action. I'm like, dude, have you not learned what transpired the previous game? Why are we not running the ball when they're beat up on the D line? And that's where I was just like, bruh, like, it doesn't matter. Like, Jordan Love, he's not playing well in the first quarter. Like, Matt LaFleur has to help him out, and Matt LaFleur has to take advantage of the Detroit Lions' weakness as of this moment. And he didn't do that in the first quarter. Now, we did take the lead. I think it was like 28-24 or something like that. Like, we did take the lead at one point at the game. But again, with Christian Watson, that's the whole situation. Like, you can't do, like, he saw before the play even starts, he sees the DB is right there in the middle. And he just decided to run into him. It's like, I understand that wasn't designed. I think it was like maybe a mesh concept or like a shallow cross concept where he's going across the middle of the field. I understand, like, that wasn't designed that way. But you have to be aware that there is a defender right there. And you just all of a sudden, oh, I'm just going to run into him. Like, you cannot do that at this juncture. You cannot do that with this team. And I feel like the Packers, they still are learning. When it comes to, like, great teams, you cannot give them opportunity after opportunity because they're going to take advantage of it every single time. And that's what the Detroit Lions did against them. That's what they did against them the first game, is that they don't have to play their best football in order to beat you because they'll just outsmart you. They'll out-execute you. They'll take advantage of your mishaps. And that's what the Detroit Lions continuously do against the Packers, is that the Packers keep making mistake after mistake. They keep beating themselves, and the Lions take advantage of it. You could say if the Packers are more disciplined, if the Packers don't make these costly mistakes, they might be 2-0 against the Detroit Lions. It's just the Detroit Lions are just smarter and more disciplined. And I have to say this. Dan Campbell, say what you want about the decision to go on fourth down at the end of the game, but I feel like that was the right decision. I would have done it. I love Dan Campbell and the way that he coaches. He coaches like me on Madden or on College Football 25. I'm that aggressive as well. Like, I'm not going to give you the opportunity to get the ball back and score because the Packers offense, they were grooving on all cylinders, and the defense for the Detroit Lions was getting gashed.
Yeah.
So I would have done the same thing. A lot of people disagree with that philosophy, but if you watch, you have to coach depending on how the game looks. And how the game was looking, the Detroit Lions defense was just getting absolutely abused. So I would have made that decision as well, especially with that offensive line and the running game. Why wouldn't you go for it in fourth and inches? Yeah. This is not 4th and 2. This is not 4th and 1. 4th and inches? And you're, like, close to the red zone area? Why wouldn't you do that? It just, to me, it makes the most sense. And then there was only, like, 40 seconds left. The Packers, yeah, the offense is great, but 40 seconds is pretty difficult. They're not Patrick Mahomes. Jordan Love is good, but he's not Patrick Mahomes. So I like the decision. Dan Campbell, I was mad as hell when they did it. I was like, damn, why does he have to go against the grain so much? Like, why does he have to make the right decisions every time? Because, you know, coaches, they normally want to be conservative in those type of moments. They like, let me trust the defense. Dan Campbell, he understands. He understands the moment. He understands what they need to do. And that's why I believe Detroit Lions, there's no other team better than Detroit Lions right now. There's no other team
in the league?
No, there's no other team better than Detroit Lions. I think they're the favorites. I don't think the Chiefs are better than them. I don't think the Bills, the Ravens, the Eagles. I know you feel high on the Eagles, but like I don't think there's any other team better than them. Because I think just talent-wise and coaching-wise, I think they're better than anybody. I will say that the Eagles, out of all the teams, I think they can match up with them.
Yeah.
Because, one, their defense with Vic Fangio has improved significantly with the additions of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Those two rookies have been sensational. We saw against the Ravens last week what they did. They did a number on the Ravens. And Cooper DeJean has been a godsend ever since he came back from injury and been inserted in that starting lineup. Why didn't the Packers draft him? It's beyond me. But regardless, he has been a godsend for them. He has been amazing. He's been everything that people projected him to be and then some. And then you have the Kobe Dean, he's developing. And then you have other guys that have been developing, the Jalen Carters. These guys are Josh Sweats. All these dudes have been tremendous for the Eagles, and they just keep getting better and better and better. I think with the addition of Saquon Barkley and just how great he is as a running back, and then the offensive line is still great even without Jason Kelce, they can really match up with this Eagles team. It boils down to, number one, the running game being dominant. Number two, the corners on the outside for the Eagles continuing to play really, really good football. And I think if you can limit the turnovers, the Eagles have a tremendous chance against this team. They literally do. Would I pick them? Probably not, but it would be a coin flip for me. I think they're that good. What about you? How do you feel about the Eagles in a matchup versus the Lions?
I hate the Eagles so much, but I believe they are probably the most built team in the NFC to beat the Lions at this point because, like you said, they have all the necessary pieces on both sides of the ball to get it done. The only thing that could get them is the fact they're relying on a lot of young dudes. They're relying on, like you said, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. And, they've been playing really well, but eventually, as rookies, you're not used to playing football this long late into the season. So then, fatigue starts to set in. And then, that's when, like they say, the rookie wall gets hit. And so, that stuff could be, and then at least most of the people on the Lions, they played in the NFC Championship game. And so I'd take them off experience, and I do believe they have better coaching in my eyes, at least offensively, because, Kellen Moore, he's good. But Ben Johnson is just more creative on the offensive end. Probably will give Vic Fangio some looks that is going to be may take a while to adjust. And the thing with Jalen Hurts, I don't think you can game manage and beat the Lions because their offense they can go band for band with you. So Jalen Hurts may have to make some plays with his arm. He can do it. We saw it in the Super Bowl. But this year he's definitely been more on the
manager side. Lean on the running game and not try to put the ball on arm's way too much.
Exactly. So I'd still pick Lions, especially if they have home field. But Eagles definitely will give them a good run because the Lions, they can be had on the defensive end.
Yeah, and I think with the Lions, it boils down to how healthy are they going to be when it matters most because they're dealing with injuries. They do. My thing is with the Lions, like Brian Branch just got hurt, Alan McNeil just got hurt. So they're dealing with injuries right now, but they still have enough time. A lot of guys are on injured reserve, but they're not They're not starters. They're more second unit, third unit, fourth unit guys. So they're really not mixing a whole lot. They just brought in Jamal Adams and Quan Alexander, which are two guys that are more on the latter part of their careers. But still, I think by the time we get to the playoffs, especially around the second round, where they'll have the number one seed. There's nobody going to challenge them for the number one seed unless they lose to the Vikings, perhaps, and then you get division records and all that. I don't know how that looks, but I just trust the Lions. I think they'll be ready to go by the time the playoffs roll around, and I don't think any team can beat them. I think they're that good, in my opinion. So I hate it. I hate it because I'm a Packers fan. I hope the Packers meet with them again. Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's gonna be a great game. Yeah, that's gonna be a great game. And I was looking at the schedule and I was like, if the Packers win this game, there is a potential that they could maybe get the division. But now they lost, so they're pretty much out of it. But whatever. Yeah. All right. Let's transition. Picking the games for week 14. I think only had 2 games I was wrong last week.
I had 3.
Yeah, so it was a good week. Hell of a week. I was wrong about
with the Ravens game.
Yeah, the Ravens game. The Ravens let me down. I don't know what the other game I was wrong about.
It was the Steelers and Bengals.
Yeah. I know I went against my better judgment because I was going back and forth. Yeah, the Bengals, I can't trust them. I can't trust them at this point. They're one of them teams you just can't trust. All right, let's go to the games. Yeah, they're pretty much cooked food, and I heard that Chase, he's limited in practice. So I don't know if he's going to play or not. Remains to be seen. I got to look at the injury report first. But
I'm sure he'll play.
Yeah, because he wants the numbers. He wants them stats for negotiation. Yeah, I would do the same thing too. All right, let's get to the games real quick. So we have Saints versus Giants. Don't really care too much for this game. I'm gonna go with the Saints, just all for the simple fact they have more dudes. They're on the road though, but the Giants they're pretty much tanking. Yeah. They're pretty much tanking for the number 1 pick. So give me the Saints this game. What about you?
Saints easily.
All right, let's go to the next game. We're going to go Browns versus Steelers. I know the Browns beat the Steelers a couple weeks ago, but it's not going to be a snow game, and they're going to be on the road. Give me the Steelers this game. They're going to want revenge for what happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Steelers.
Let's go Falcons versus Vikings. I don't trust the Falcons at all. I don't trust Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has been falling off of a cliff this past month.
He's been bad.
Dude, I might have to put him back on the fraud watch list again. Or is it over? Is it just over now? Is he just cooked?
36 coming off an Achilles injury. I mean,
yeah, he might be cooked. I think I'll leave him alone. I think he's just cooked now. Just like with Aaron Rodgers. Give me the Vikings. Vikings going away. I think the Falcons, you can't trust them either. They're one of those teams you just can't trust.
Yeah, I'm going Vikings.
All right, let's go to the Raiders versus Buccaneers. Same thing. Can't trust the Raiders. I'm going Buccaneers this game. Raiders are 2-10. They're gearing up for the number 1 pick.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm going Buccaneers because they still have a chance to win that division, especially if the Falcons lose this week. So yeah, I'm going Buccaneers.
And Mike Evans is back, so that offense is. Ever since Mike
Evans
has been back,
injuries, so.
Bucky Irvin's been amazing for them. I like the Buccaneers in this one.
I heard something about Bucky. Bucky could be a little hurt. He's not. I don't see him on the injury report, so I guess he's good to go.
Panthers, Eagles, all day, every day in Lincoln Financial Field. It's not even close.
Godspeed, Bryce Young.
Titans, Jaguars. I heard Trevor Lawrence. Well, actually,
he's
let me
on
take
IR.
that back. He's on IR.
Yeah.
That was the previous week where he finally came back. I'm going Titans this game. Jaguars starting Mac Jones. I don't like the Titans at all, but at this point of the season, who do you trust more? The Titans with a pretty solid defense or the Jags that are just imploding? I'm going to go with the Titans. Looking at the injury report.
I'm going Jags.
You going Jags? What's up with the Jags that you like?
Not much, but somebody. I feel like it's got to be an upset somewhere on this slate, so I'm gonna go Jags.
All right. Dolphins versus Jets. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins this game. They're at home. Jets, cold weather team going to Miami. It's gonna be a bit of a process. It's gonna be a bit difficult for them to adjust. And the Jets, they're just awful. Aaron Rodgers is just awful. They're just declining every single week. Aaron Rodgers has cooked food. I'm going to go with the Dolphins this game.
Yeah, I'm going with the Dolphins. The Jets, they're imploding. Some of Breece Hall, he could be hurt and dealing with something. And Braylon Allen expected to get a lot of the touches. I'm going with Dolphins. They just got more juice right now.
All right, let's go to the Seahawks versus the Cardinals. This is an interesting game for many, many reasons. Divisional game. The Cardinals, they're fighting for their playoff lives. Seattle, they're trying to continue that momentum. Man, this one is interesting. I'm going to go with Seattle this game. I think I trust Seattle. I trust Seattle more. I'm going to be honest. I don't trust the Cardinals. The Cardinals, says noise. Must be outside. Ignore the beeping sound. But yeah, I trust Seattle more. I think they're just better coach. I think I like their offense a lot more than the Cardinals. The Cardinals, they're like the Falcons to me. Like, they're just up and, you don't know what version of the Cardinals you're going to get every week. Seattle, I feel like they're a little bit more consistent, even though Geno can be a bit mediocre at times. I just like the Seattle offense a lot more.
That's absolutely understandable. And I'm going to say, I'm looking at the numbers. Kyler Murray hasn't really had a Kyler Murray-esque performance this year. Besides, like week 2, he had 3 touchdowns, 266 in the air. I think he's due for a signature Kyler Murray type game against, especially a must-win game like this. Because if you lose this game, you drop 2 to Seattle, and they lead the division. They'll be 8-5 if they win this game. I think I'm gonna go Cardinals. I think this is like a kind of do or die game for them. And they have a good division record. You can't afford to drop 2 to Seattle, especially because they're leading right now. So I'm gonna go Cardinals.
They're giving Arizona 2.5
even at home. So they think Seattle wins, but I'm gonna go Cardinals.
All right, we have the Bills versus the Rams. I'm gonna go with the Bills. I think the Rams are just like the Falcons. You don't know which version they're gonna get. They're at home, but it's not really a home field advantage too much for the Rams. I like the Bills. The Bills are just playing on high cylinders right now, and I think they're going to continue that.
Yeah, I'm going Bills as well. Josh Allen is reshaped. He's no longer turnover man. So, man, he's playing really good football. So, hey, I'm going Bills. They've been playing like the better team.
Bears versus 49ers. Bears are on the road. 49ers are at home. This one right here, they fired Matt Eberflus. You know, the offense coordinator is now the head coach. He wasn't even offense coordinator a few weeks ago. Now all of a sudden he's the head coach. What a journey. Man.
Trevor Williams out, Jordan Mason out. DJ Moore questionable. Swift is questionable.
This is a coin flip for me, for sure. This is definitely a coin flip. Because I think I'm gonna go with the Bears. I think with the 49ers injury, and you have a team that just let go of their coach, I think the team is going to be rejuvenated. They're going to be motivated to try to play a lot better, especially since Matt Eberflus is now out. It's a lot more positive vibes. I think Caleb Williams is probably going to play a lot better. I like the Bears in this matchup.
I want to pick the Bears too, but it's freaking 49ers. The 49ers are at home. Debo stinks though. They really don't have any like real wide receivers. No Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, he's out for the season.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Isaac Garindo. No Jordan Mason either.
That's another man. And injuries on injuries.
I might go with the Bears then. Yeah, the Bears seem to be the healthy, at least on the defense. And you know, the Bears defense, they get busy. Brock Purdy might be a little, but then again, Eberflus was commanding that defense. So who knows how they look now that he's gone.
Right.
I'm gonna go with the Bears. I might regret it. I'm gonna go with the Bears. Caleb I think Caleb will put up a great performance this week. And DJ Moore is questionable, but I think he'll play. Swift is questionable too, but I think he'll play. This is really a toss-up.
It is. You gonna stay with the Bears pick, or you gonna switch? What you gonna do?
I'm gonna go with the 49ers.
You gonna go with the 49ers? Okay.
I don't want to, but I am.
Gonna go with the better coach team. I understand. I understand that. All right, let's go to the Chargers versus Chiefs. A division matchup. The Chiefs, they continue to skate by. They almost lost to the Raiders, but the Raiders, that black magic came into effect yet again, and they beat the Raiders. The other game against the Broncos, they do that. They just keep getting away with it. Let me look. Who's at home? Who's on the road?
Chiefs are home.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I'm going with the Chiefs this game. I don't trust the Chargers offense.
Because JK is out.
Right. It's just the Chargers. They're a well coached team. Don't get me wrong. Justin Herbert is one of the better talents at QB, but the wide receivers besides Ladd McConkey got to do something. The tight ends, they got to do something, and I just don't trust that any of the wide receivers outside of Ladd McConkey can get open.
I think they said he might start practicing again.
Okay, so Isaiah Pacheco should be coming back.
He was back last week.
I didn't see him much.
Yeah, I saw him. He had one big run. He had like a 20-something yard run in that Raiders game towards the in like the fourth quarter or something. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. They just found ways to win, and I feel like they're healthier right now. The Chargers getting banged up, and if they don't got Ladd, then
yeah, they're pretty much like there's no passing game.
Yeah,
literally no passing game. Last game on the docket, we have Monday night game. We have Bengals versus Cowboys. Two teams that are just there, like they're ready for the season to end.
I'm going with the freaking Bengals. I'm sorry. Listen, I know people want to buy into the hype. The Cowboys are some of the Cowboys that have been playing better, but look who we played. They beat the Giants by only 7 points at home.
Mm-hmm.
And freaking Drew Lock played terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not buying it. I feel like the Cowboys, they've been playing to the level of competition. They play better than the sorry Giants and all of that stuff. And they beat the Commanders, which was a good win. But Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels is not the same QBs. And Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, I don't think they're gonna be able to stop them. Chase Brown, I don't think they're gonna be able to stop them. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals. And the Cowboys stink at home.
Bengals aren't a good team either.
They have a good offense though.
They do. You just mentioned Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow, but Jaden Daniels went to Cincinnati and beat Joe Burrow. And outplayed Joe Burrow.
That was different.
Oh, that was different.
Yeah, that was different. Listen, I want us to lose so we can get a better pick, Daggone it. So, Bengals, I need y'all to lock in and go out there and beat the brakes off of us. Please.
That's the problem. Lock in. When have they ever locked in this season?
But shoot, CD is questionable. Zach Martin ain't playing, even though Brock Hoffman played good. Overshown is questionable. Trayvon Diggs is questionable. On the other side, Evan McPherson is on IR. How do these kickers be getting injured? But
I don't know.
Orlando Brown is questionable. Other than that, they don't really have a lot of injuries on the Bengals side. The Cowboys, we riddled with injury.
Oh,
I think this game will be closer. I mean, they got Vegas has it at 5.5 for the Bengals, but I think it'll be closer than that because the Cowboys just don't know how to lose. I'm going Bengals. Sorry. The Cowboys win, I will be very upset.
This is an interesting game.
Jamar Chase, I need 300 yards, big fella.
I say this because the Cowboys defense has been playing a lot better. And the Bengals, they're just one of those teams that, especially around this time of year, I just can't trust them for whatever reason, even with Joe Burrow. I'm going to go with the Bengals because whatever you want to say about the Bengals, the early of the season, they did play down to their competition, but whenever they did go up against a pretty bad team, they played well for the most part. They're going up against a Cowboys team that is not all that good. Without Dak Prescott, they're not all that talented. They're pretty much top heavy. I think the Cowboys are going to be able to score a good amount of points. I just think that this Bengals offense is just too explosive. Joe Burrow is playing on a high level. Jamar Chase has been the best receiver in football this year. I like their chances. I like the Bengals in this matchup, so I'm going to go with the Bengals. But I won't be surprised if this is a close game because I've seen the Bengals almost lose to the Giants, almost lose to some very, very sorry teams. And
the thing is, when the Bengals lose, they at least make it respectable. The Cowboys lose, they get blown out for the most part.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a game. This is going to be an interesting game, and I might watch it. I might watch a little bit of it just to see if the Cowboys what they do with it. But I feel like the Bengals will get this one. I think 5.5 is appropriate for this game. All right, that'll do it for Week 14 of our NFL picks. Hopefully, I'm correct on everyone. besides that Thursday night football game. But every other pick, hopefully I'm correct on everyone. And we'll see you all next week with our picks again.
Just let me be me.